Okay, we're going to continue with some book talks. The first book I'd like to introduce to you is nominated for the Iowa Teen Award this year. Therefore, it will be one of our battle books. When we are not using it for Battle of Books, it will be shelved in the survival section. This is The Distance Between Lost and Found by Katherine Holmes. Our main character is sophomore Hallelujah Calhoun. Hallelujah is on a church retreat in the Smoky Mountains, and she has been sent there at the request of her parents. Hallelujah really does not want to be on this church retreat because of another one of the campers who has also gone. This is Luke Willis. He too is a sophomore at her school. And about 6 months ago, something happened between Luke and Hallelujah. And by the way, Hallelujah goes by the nickname Hallie. And ever since we'll call it the incident, things have been pretty difficult for Hallie at school. And a lot of that has to do with Luke tormenting her about what took place. Now, the reason Luke is on this retreat is because his father happens to be the minister of the church. And several of their other friends have also gone on this retreat. So the story begins with the campers sitting around a campfire while on the retreat, and Luke starts in on Hallie. And I'm going to read you just a little bit of what happens. The laughter starts as a low murmur. Hallie might not have even noticed if it wasn't coming from a few seats down, from where he's sitting. But she hears the laughs, hears them spreading, and she knows. She's not surprised. She expects this. Still, she feels anxiety blossom. She just wants to be invisible. He can't even let her have that. And so she folds in on herself. She stares at the fire pit. She watches the embers glow and the sparks float up with the smoke through the opening in the ceiling. She inhales the burnt air, and she waits. And then something hits the side of her head. It bounces off her shoulder and lands on the wooden bench next to her. She glances down. It's a tiny twig. A few seconds pass, and then another twig hits her, this time on her cheek. She ignores the muffled laughter, refuses to look over, tries not to react, because that's what he wants. Directly across the fire pit, their youth group director is oblivious. He's leading campfire songs, strumming an acoustic guitar, eyes closed. The next twig bounces off the top of Hallelujah's head. The one after that gets stuck in her hair, right by her forehead. She thinks about which is worse, brushing it away or leaving it. Then she pulls the twig loose and drops it on the ground, her cheeks burning. She knows she shouldn't let Luke get to her, but flicking twigs at her is just the beginning. He's got the other kids' attention. Next, the rumors spread. The real mocking starts. It's a chain of events he's been repeating for almost 6 months, a chain she doesn't know how to break. So she does the only thing she knows how to do. She sets her face to stone and keeps her eyes on the fire. The next day, the group heads out on a hike through the Smoky Mountains, and about halfway through, they encounter a creek, a pretty fast-flowing creek with rocks, and most of the campers get across the creek, and then it's Hallie's turn. And in the process of her crossing the creek, Luke trips her, and she falls in the water, which is quite cold, and she gets soaking wet. And it's at that point that she decides that she's had enough and she's going to go home. So she turns around and she starts to head back on the trail. Well, like I said, most of the campers have gone on. However, 2 of them, who were towards the back, notice that Hallie has turned around. One of them is Rachel. She does not go to Hallie's high school. She's not aware of some of the history between Luke and Hallie. Rachel is at the retreat for her own personal issues and reasons, and Rachel decides that Hallie's got the right idea and she's going to go with her. The other person that notices is a former friend of Hallie's, Jonah. When the incident took place, it was after that Jonah and Hallie's friendship kind of fell apart. But not wanting the two girls to go back by themselves, Jonah decides to accompany them. They get to a point on their way back where they have to make a decision about which part of the path they should continue on. Should they go right or left? Jonah feels fairly confident that he knows the right way, and you can guess it, he happens to pick the wrong way, and eventually the three of them end up getting lost in the Smoky Mountains.